of the quickening. The moment when the sun crosses the celestial equator and the scales of light and dark find their brief, perfect balance. We call it the spring equinox. In the West, we drape this season in green ribbons and celebrate a saint who famously drove the serpents from the Emerald Isle. But beneath the parades and the shamrocks lies a shadow history, a story not of saints, but of survivors. It is a story that begins 3,000 years ago, thousands of miles to the east, under the jagged, sun-drenched peaks of Anatolia. To understand the true soul of St. Patrick's Day, we must pull a crimson thread, a thread that binds the burning ruins of Troy to the mist-shrouded cliffs of Kerry and Scotland. 3 millennia ago, in the shadow of Mount Ida, a people lived in a world of raw, terrifying divinity. These were the Phrygians, and their heart belonged to the Great Mother, Cybele. Beside her stood Attis, the shepherd, the lover, the sacrifice. The myth tells us that in a fit of divine ecstasy, Attis shed his own blood beneath a sacred pine tree. As his life ebbed into the soil, he did not simply die, he was transformed into the evergreen. But look closer at the iconography of this ancient cult. See the followers wearing the Phrygian cap, that soft red conical hood with the drooping peak. To the uninitiated, it is a hat of liberty. To the seeker, it is a literal representation of the blood of Attis, the fly agaric. This is the fly agaric, the red and white messenger, the mushroom of the gods. In the highlands of Anatolia, this fungus lives in a sacred marriage with the roots of the pine and the birch. When the spring rains hit the earth, the blood of Attis erupts from the soil, red as a king's robe, flecked with white like the stars. This was the soma of the ancient world, the nectar that fed Zeus himself on that same Mount Ida. The Phrygians discovered that this mushroom granted the vision of the serpent, allowing the soul to traverse the celestial realms. This knowledge was the most guarded secret of the ancient East, a chemical key to the gates of heaven, later inherited by the mystery schools of Greece and Rome. But empires fall, and knowledge must move to survive. After the cataclysm of the Bronze Age collapse and the fall of Troy, a specific branch of these people, the Carians, or the Cari people, refused to let the spark die. They were the greatest mariners of antiquity, the sea peoples, who commanded the Mediterranean. They took their families, their secret scrolls, and their sacred fungi, and turned their prows toward the setting Sunday. They followed the tin route past the Pillars of Hercules, seeking a new Anatolia in the north. Think of the names we take for granted, the Carians of the East becoming the Cari people of the West. We call it County Kerry today, a land of rugged beauty that mirrors the Anatolian coast. They did not arrive as refugees. They arrived as the Milesians, the sons of the East, and they brought their signature with them. If you look at the ancient stones of Ireland and the Pictish carvings of Scotland, you will find a symbol that defies local explanation. The hippocampus, the half-horse, half-fish. This sea steed was the crest of the Carian mariners, etched into the granite of the north to mark their new kingdom. Consider the genetic echo. In the highlands of Anatolia, there lived a people of striking appearance, warriors with hair the color of the setting sun. This red-headed trait was not a northern invention. It was an Anatolian legacy. When these Carian and Phrygian bloodlines migrated, they carried this biological fire with them. The red-haired people of the Scottish Highlands and the Irish coast are the living descendants of the Sun Kings of Troy. Their hair is the physical manifestation of the red and white flame they once worshipped in the forest. This brings us to the man we call Patrick. History tells us he drove the snakes out of Ireland, but Ireland never had snakes. The serpents Patrick drove out were the druidic remnants of this ancient Eastern mystery school. The snakes were the lines of energy and the mushroom wisdom of the Carian Milesians. The church sought to replace the ecstatic, red and white divine frenzy of the fly agaric with a more controlled, green orthodoxy. They traded the Phrygian cap for the mitre, and the sacred mushroom for the shamrock. Yet, the old gods are patient. Even now, the symbols of the fly agaric cult are hidden in plain sight during our spring festivals. Look at the leprechaun, the little person of the mound. He is often depicted in red, sitting upon a red and white toadstool. This is no Victorian whim. The leprechaun is the guardian of the pot of gold, the alchemical transformation found at the end of the mushrooms. Rainbow. He wears the coat of the old Phrygian priests, preserving the knowledge of the earth's hidden treasures, while the world above celebrates in green. We are told that Patrick brought the light, but he merely placed a green veil over a fire that was already burning. As the sun crosses the line this March, understand the gravity of the day. You are not just celebrating a patron saint. You are celebrating a 3,000-year-old survival. You are walking the path of the Carian sea kings who saw the stars reflected in the Atlantic and knew they had found a new Mount Ida. The equinox is a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, the same bridge crossed by the initiates of Cybele in the ancient world. The crimson thread is unbroken. It runs from the pine forests of Turkey to the mossy glens of the Atlantic fringe. It lives in the Cari blood of the Irish people and the silent stones of the Picts. This St. Patrick's Day, look past the green. Remember Addis under the pine. Remember the Carian sailors. And remember that beneath the soil, the red and white messengers, the fly agaric, are still waiting for the rain. The light has returned. The seahorse still swims in our dreams. And the ancient East has found its eternal home in the West. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Your support means everything to us.